Hey, this is Thad Joyner, and you're listening to What Thad Thinks, the one and only podcast on the interweb focused solely on what I think. Proud that you're listening today. We are powered by Better Beans Branding, your one-stop shop for commercial and residential design, graphics, branding, construction, and remodel. Yes, capable of everything. Thank you for listening. Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to What Thad Thinks, powered by Better Beans Branding. Excited to be with you today. Since the new year has hit, we have been, since really, since Neel's, since his hibernation, we have been not as regular with our podcasts. But the good news is that means we are slamming with business, across all of our platforms. We thank you for that, but we want to thank our listeners that keep texting me, asking me when the next episode is, and we have a great one for you today. Make sure if you like this podcast, share it with somebody. Get us a new listener. If you get us a new listener, I'll send you a prize. I'll send you a present. You just go ahead and let me know who you are and what listener you got for us. Leave us go ahead and rate us. Leave us a review. We'd love to have it. But also a one quick shout out to the entire Better Beans team, not only for supporting this podcast, but we have brought on some new talent, and that team is rocking it. And since September, October, they have been putting the pedal down, scaling up for growth, and really hitting some home runs that I'm super proud to be involved with them in the way that I am. We thank them for all they do. And now we will, bring on their leader, who gets rarely thanked, often abused, Neel Gupta.
What up?
What was that? Like, is that your attempt to be hip or something? Like,
that's my
new
new
FM radio person or something? What up?
Yeah, bringing you the hits on Better Beans Radio. Spin those tunes. No?
Yeah.
Not feeling it, huh?
You sidekick. Sidekick. What Thad thinks.
Oh, hear you. Okay.
I mean, one of these weeks we're just have to let you do one on your own. I know that'd make you real proud, real happy.
Not exciting. I don't want that. Somebody asked me the other day why why I don't have a logo yet.
You do.
Well, I told him I do, but I don't know where it is. But
who was it? Who was it?
Somebody in our office.
Oh,
I don't remember who.
Probably one of the new people trying to kiss up, because it certainly wasn't Katie Lee, Ted, or Jordan.
I don't know.
Yeah. So that must have been Savannah or Nyasha.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't Savannah because she doesn't
talk.
Not
throwing them on the bus. I don't even know what Savannah knows.
It had to have been Nyasha.
We'll see.
That's who it was.
I'm going to lobby for a logo this year.
You're not getting one. We have a great logo. It is not time for a rebrand.
Okay.
We're good.
We have other work to do.
So why have you still not gotten us a video? I mean, why do we still not get to see your show? Are you this scared of it? I was asked again this week where that is. I mean, it's like almost people, we started talking about it 6 months ago and the people still don't know. Very good production job there, Neel.
Yeah, it's going. It's here.
I tell people that's just indicative of your speed generally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is how you complete work that I don't get involved in.
Okay. Well, that's great. I'm sure that the customers that are listening are finding that just
they just need to make sure they involve me if they feel things aren't moving fast enough.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe actually the video is here to be reviewed. I saw a note on it this morning. I have not looked at it, but
let's get going.
Yeah. Not just going to throw it out here on this episode though. So
let's do it.
Stay tuned.
Okay. Well, I was wondering about that.
Keep wondering. I'm wondering about conspiracy theories. I'm a good sucker for a good one.
Oh man, you on YouTube lately? You watching like any of the Q stuff? Or you down that rabbit hole yet?
Not yet, but I heard a couple people talk about it, and I could be interested in going down a rabbit hole or two and not coming out.
10 hours on it the other night. My stepsister is like a full blown conspiracy warrior.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, there.
so
This
like,
seems
you
to
know,
be
like
the
the blackout at the Vatican, the Pope being arrested. Like, have you gone down those rabbit holes
no,
yet?
no. Can you
Trump was
share?
going to have
Enlighten me.
Trump was going to have the day before inauguration, 200,000 people arrested across the world.
Mm. We're talking Illuminati at this
Yeah, that's
point.
exactly what it all is. Yeah, Illuminati, deep state, was it cabal, all these things.
Man, I got a great Saturday night plan now. I've got some reading to do.
Oh man, oh man, yeah.
You have to realize how
Buckle up! I spent 10 hours
how
on it the other night.
how really like unsophisticated you would have to either be to believe the depth at which those things go, or you have to believe that we're capable of that level of deception.
Um,
I think you told me that there's one where the Pope got kidnapped.
that's what I just said. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, full blown. I have talked to individuals that 100% believe that the Pope was arrested 2 weeks ago or last week, early last week.
Hmm.
I think like January 10th or something like that. He supposedly was arrested in connection with child trafficking. And yeah, yeah. I mean, there's some wicked stuff out there. Now, I know there's some incredibly evil people. So I do not want to make light of any of that. There certainly could be. Um, there's a lot of smoke. I mean, I'm sure there's some truth to something somewhere, right? I mean, somewhere. But I mean, have you ever have you ever gone down the rabbit hole on Pizzagate?
I don't even know what that is.
Well, okay, enjoy those videos tonight.
Pizza Gate.
Yes, conspiracy theories. I do remember a fantastic movie. I mean, that Mel Gibson movie, Conspiracy Theory. I think it was made like in the late 90s. Did you ever watch that movie?
No.
Watch that movie for fun, because that's the thing. Okay, so basically Mel Gibson was crazy whacked out, right? Everything was a conspiracy. People thought he was nuts. I mean, nuts. He would go into the police departments or the FBI or the CIA or news agencies constantly with a new theory about something he thought was a conspiracy. Everybody thought he was crazy, except he finally was right about one of them. They were like really right about one of them, and the CIA starts chasing him, and it's a great movie. I think it's Julia Roberts in him, if I remember correctly. Very good movie. So, for some of the conspiracy theorists out there, I'm not saying you're wrong. You very well may have something that's right. But it sure would take a whole lot of people that are in on this thing that can keep secrets, and as many fame whores as we have out there, and people willing to pay you for like real truth. Somebody would have spilled it by now for real. But anyway, that's what I think. That's our conspiracy theory night. But if some of these conspiracy theories are true, well, buckle up. If it's all coming to the surface, we're about to find out some really crazy stuff. Some really crazy stuff.
It'd be interesting to hear if our I lost my earpiece. It'd be interesting to hear if our listeners are buying into the conspiracy theories. Like,
there are
what's the
some
one?
people that guarantee you some of our listeners are in on it that are probably mad at me right now for laughing. And I'm not saying listen, I don't know enough about any of it to be true or not true. So I just kind of, I somewhat like to be, I have definitely watched enough to form an opinion on most of it, or at least an opinion of like, okay, that I don't want to watch anymore. I kind of take my wife's approach to this a little bit, which is she just wants to hear about rainbows and unicorns. And if it's really that bad, she doesn't want to know. Like, she doesn't crack the book of Revelations in the Bible. I mean, some people just don't read that. They don't read it for a reason. They don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what else is real? Or maybe not. What would you think the value of Bitcoin is right now?
To me,
to the market?
well, I mean, I think it's like almost 40,000 or something
Yeah.
right now.
How is that possible? What is a Bitcoin? What's a Bitcoin? Is it like a gallon of milk at the grocery store? Is it, I mean, what do you buy? What is it? How is it
Well,
possible
I
that
hate to give like investment advice today, or and to go through. I remember you and I at a cigar bar in a casino. I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And these two old farmer dudes. I mean, they were as country as cornbread. You remember that? They're like cowboys.
hmm
And you got to talking to them. I mean, y'all were 3 or 4 whiskeys in, and
Oh, I don't drink. But go ahead for the listeners.
you were 3 or 4 whiskeys in, and um, I remember you saying, "Come over here and listen to this." And these guys were talking to us about cryptocurrency and how wealthy they had become on cryptocurrency. Didn't work anymore, right? You
hmm
remember that?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
don't
remember this
remember this
conversation?
ever.
You're like trying to
Yeah, yeah,
search.
yeah. No, 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 no. I remember it. I'm
That was
kind
one of
of
the first. I mean,
like,
I had heard about it. It was one of the first people I had like sat and listened to. So they're probably stupid wealthy now, right? If they're selling,
yes,
if they've
if they
sold.
didn't spend it all.
Yeah, they were spending that night for sure.
Yeah.
So I have done maybe my simplicity um, is paying off here or doesn't pay off. Maybe it hasn't paid off for me. I was always bearish and would not buy any. Um, when it got to be $5,000, $10,000, I definitely wasn't buying any. Now that it's at 40,000, there's absolutely no way in hell I'm buying it. Um, because of a few like fundamentals. Like I believe in buying and investing in companies that have fundamental value and have stripped down value at zero, right? So I buy real estate, I buy value driven companies. Why are you up on the screen? Are you reading something on your screen now? You came all the way close and started looking down. What are you looking at? Like stay back.
I'm just looking at the screen.
No, you like real it was weird. Like you're not paying attention to me. Back up. Back up.
How far back? How about that?
I don't know. Why are you changing?
I'm just leaning forward.
No, you weren't just leaning forward. You were doing
I,
something else.
nothing
Tell the
else.
listeners what you were really doing.
I was leaning forward, listeners. Did I try break your train of thought
You're
there?
such a weirdo.
Value driven. Come on.
Now I'm bothered by your forward lean.
Here, I'm going to sit back in my chair again. There we
That's
go.
what you've been doing for weeks. Why would you all of a sudden on that subject lean in and look down like this? You look like this. You weren't listening.
I mean, I'm telling you.
Good looking beans hat. We should send that better beans hat to somebody. It looks good on you. Oh God, put it back on.
What?
That's
I got to get a haircut.
Yeah, both of them. You got to get your hairs cut. So I've always invested in things that have value or are backed by something. So, for my companies, I invest in, companies that I know have, intrinsic value in great markets. For my real estate, even if they were empty, I can go sleep in them. They have value. At some point, there's a limited amount of them, and there's things you can use them for. They deliver something of value to its owners and its people. I believe in investing in, if I buy stock in a company, it's in companies that have very strong balance sheets, or I buy stocks that are regulated by, an industry. Well, Bitcoin's not regulated. So there's constant pumping and dumping. We have no idea if someone's bought a bunch of this up right now and has bought PR to pump up the value of this just so they can sell it. And then it crashes again. It has no value other than what the next person's willing to pay for it. That is its only value.
So there you go.
So it's not like milk. Right? I mean, milk's only worth what somebody will pay for it, right? But it also gives you nutritional value, and
yeah, you can do something with it.
Yeah. Bitcoin is none of those. So given the option to invest money, I wouldn't put everything in Bitcoin. How about that?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I also don't believe in, but I mean, while we're at it, I don't believe in buying things when they're at their highest levels.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty high.
Yeah.
30,
I mean,
$39,000.
doesn't mean it won't go higher. I mean, you could have said, "Oh my God, I'm selling at 7,000," and that would have been a big mistake, right? So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
also coming from the guy that sold his IPO Facebook at like $47 and was proud that I made a couple bucks.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
Live to fight another day on that one.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm just a singles hitter when it comes to investing.
I would think. I think you mentioned it earlier. Warren Buffett probably very similar in that approach, right?
That's his exact approach. I don't know why
Yeah.
that you brought that up, but yeah. You
Well,
just want to add some more of what Neel thinks. I mean, you're so trying to nudge it on my show, leaning forward, telling people what you think.
you're really bothered about being leaning
I don't
forward,
know,
huh?
man. You just bother me sometimes.
Shocker. Are you watching the NFL this week?
Dang
And
right. My
who's playing?
son my son was an early adopter 3 years ago, early adopter becoming a Cleveland Brown fan. He
God.
abandoned the Falcons and made the Falcons his second favorite team and took on the Browns. I think he wanted there to be a lovable loser, but he also was at the right age where you know he's not going to stop being a UGA fan, but he doesn't want to necessarily just be a fan of everything his dad is. So you know, Nick Chubb, good Georgia boy going there. Baker Mayfield. About the time we went and watched him in the Rose Bowl. So he's a big Brown fan. So the fact that they won their first playoff game last week in 27 years or something, or first time in the playoffs in 27 years, he is pumped and ready to go for tomorrow. I'm pumped for Breeze Brady. Um, I'm a big Josh Allen Buffalo Bills fan. I make a, ESPN's not calling me for my advice or anything, but I did make uh, every year I kind of think of myself as being able to rate quarterbacks better than anybody coming out of college, or as good as anybody, not better than anybody. I'm not Bill Parcells and I'm not paid for it, but I was absolutely on the Josh Allen train, being the best quarterback of that class. He is quickly proving me to be correct this year. I was on Justin Herbert this year, who's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. I was on him over Burrow. So yeah, there we
Well,
go.
hard hard to beat Burrow. I mean, Burrow beat himself when you have a broken leg. So
Well, Herbert was already, if he wasn't neck and neck, he was ahead of Burrow
mm-hmm.
this year. So, 34 touchdown passes as a rookie. Come on.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
That's a lot of touchdowns for a rookie and for a rookie.
I let's talk the hot topic right now. Censorship. A lot going on out
Yeah,
there.
I think half the country's not calling it censorship, but yeah, the other half is definitely calling it censorship.
I mean,
How do you define censorship? Will you look it up on Google? Like, how's Google define censorship?
I would have to lean forward to do that.
No, never mind. Okay, I'll look it up while you're talking. Go ahead and give me your,
Yeah,
give me
I
your
mean,
liberal opinion on it.
censorship, cancel culture. Um, we've spent a couple of weeks talking about it here and there, but it's full force right now. I think the big one and top of mind right now is some of the stuff that's happening with Twitter and President Trump, but there's even some other things, right? I think you mentioned earlier in our preparation that we're talking about some of the more liberal senators looking to build a truth committee. What do you know about that?
Well, first off, censorship, suppression of speech, public communication, or other information on the basis that such material is considered objectionable, harmful, sensitive, or inconvenient. And we, as a country, we have a history of not believing in censorship, right? Or at least speaking out against it. That's kind of, freedom of speech, all that kind of stuff. Pennsylvania lieutenant governor came out this week and said that it's okay that lying or untruths are not protected speech. Scares the crap out of me. I think he graduated from Harvard. He definitely graduated from an Ivy League law school. When he starts an Ivy League school of government. That scares the crap out of me that he thinks that lying is not protected speech. Um, Certainly, the Constitution protects all speech. Um, there's been a case or two of speech that's not protected, which is like going into a movie theater and yelling fire, or attacking someone from, um, you know, assault, threatening them, not
Hmm.
protected speech. But censorship has been something that we've stood behind as a country for a long time, and a lot of patriots on both sides of the aisle have fought tooth and nail for this. Heroes through time, through history, have fought for this. So it is very troubling right now that we think censorship is okay. Shutting up one side of the argument is okay. It's very dangerous. So if I guess let me ask you this, Neel, and so no trap, just honest question, right? So if I mean, what percentage of the vote did Joe Biden win? I mean, it was close, 51,
Yeah.
52,
What,
something like that.
52%? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 52, 48, 80 million to 80 something million to 78 million or whatever it was,
Hmm.
right?
Landslide.
Yeah. If you go to quiet the 78 million, like if you're going to take their leader that the 78 million people voted for, and remove him from Twitter and remove him from Facebook, and um, what do you expect the other side to do? Like,
Hmm.
honestly, what do you expect to have
Well,
happen? I mean, I'm more in the middle than I am anywhere, but um, what do you expect to happen when you try to shut up one side?
well, you fight back. You
I
should.
mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm just telling you, if it's, I heard a lot about unity after the election, right? That we're going to peace and unity and all that, but what I'm seeing is punishment and admonishment. I mean, there's a petition going around Harvard right now to pull the degrees of Ted Cruz, Dan Crenshaw. I think it's Tom Hawley. I mean, so maybe I got his name wrong,
Josh
but
Hawley. Yeah. Yeah.
Josh Hawley pull their degrees because they support Trump. Like, that's crazy, right? I mean, right?
Yeah. I would suspect if you went through all the thousands of graduates at Harvard, you would find yourself pulling degrees every year for if anything didn't align with what they are. Like
Well, even who
that's a
cares
big
about how
problem.
many?
That's
Who
a
cares
big
about how
problem.
many you have to pull? If you pull one, I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like,
That's a
you
big
take
problem.
somebody's accomplishments because of who they support. Like, this level of censorship. I mean, Amazon pulling Parler off of their servers, basically just closing that social media platform down. Um, Google already manipulating their search content. Um, Facebook and Twitter having all these fact checkers come on certain people's and censoring certain people and putting their fact checks on stuff. It's
What do
honestly,
you
it's
think the
scary.
qualifications are of a fact checker?
Well, I can tell you the fact checking company that Facebook employs. If I don't want to say this wrong, but I believe the owner of the company was the former chair of the Democratic National Party. I mean,
Oh.
it's something like that. I probably said that
The
wrong,
fact,
but
the
it's,
facts according to, then it becomes. I mean, yeah,
yeah. I mean, there was somebody said, if you want to, if you want to control the truth, control the media. And, you've got Bezos that owns the Washington Post and Amazon. I don't know. Seems like he's controlling the narrative a little bit.
yeah.
And then you got these other people censoring people. Look, I don't believe in censorship. Period. End of discussion. Wasn't a fan of it when. I mean, I wasn't around, but I'm not a fan of Abraham Lincoln having reporters from the opposite side of the aisle locked up when during the Civil War. You don't censor people just because you get to decide what's safe, what's right, what's true, what's not. AOC came out this week, said basically wanted ministries of truth to reform GOP people from the South. I mean, I don't really need someone telling me what the truth is, and don't want anybody telling me what the truth is. Our forefathers believed we all had the power to figure out what the truth was for ourselves, and that's what I believe. That's what my mom raised me to be. So I know this isn't how people on the left really are. It's how some of the way left people are right now, because I know that most Americans believe that censorship is bad and that all people have the right to believe however they want to believe. That's their right. I think 80% of Americans believe that, and God bless them. But let's shut up the fringes and get rid of some of this censorship crazy talk. It's just going to rile people up more, right? If you want them to trust the government, trust voting machines, you don't come out and censor them right after the election, right? I mean, so you want the people on the right to accept the election results, don't they, Neel?
Yes, yes.
So you want them to accept it and like it and agree with it and trust the government. So what you do is censor all of them and fact check them on Facebook. So now do they believe you? Do they believe the left now? No, they're more untrusted. They're stupid. Yeah. I wouldn't let you run a company like that. I wouldn't let you talk to our people and shut up half the company. I mean, that's be stupid. We'd lose them.
Mm-hmm.
They trust us less. Anyway, that was a heavy topic. Did we even have fun today? I mean, maybe when you lean forward, we had fun. Other than that,
it's been a heavy few weeks.
It's been a heavy, like 6-8 months, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, wow. Well, look, got a great topic today.
Come on.
We have our leadership goal setting session for basically mid management coming up Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the topic that's been on my mind quite a bit is how are we going to reward our employees in 2021? And from either our childcare companies or Better Beans or any of these guys, all of it's important that we start talking about how we're going to reward customers. And I have crazy glare coming on my face from the window. I can't help it. The sun's setting over there. It's just going to be nuts. Whatever. Oh my God, don't lean forward again. Put your hat back on, Neel. Can you put your hat back on? Maybe that's what gave me the glare. There we go. Thank you. All right. So how we're going to reward employees in 2021. So first off, let's talk about something. A basic fundamental that you small business owners should believe in, a basic fundamental that I believe in is what is rewarded gets done. This is simple. I mean, from moving the cheese in the maze, the rat learns how to get through the maze because they want the cheese. It's as easy as that. What gets rewarded gets done. We believe it. I talk about it. I think about it. I sleep on it. I dream about it. I try to come up with ways to reward employees because I know what's rewarded gets done. On a side note, if you reward customers, the customers reward you with their business over and over again. Another basic tenet of what I believe. A fundamental, something I will never forget. Reward your customers. They will reward you with their business over and over and over and over again. Reward your employees. And you've got to reward the behavior that you want. So, 9 times out of 10, the things that are frustrating you in your company, the things that are frustrating you about your employees, it's because you're not rewarding the right things. Let's take your basic, childcare center, right? So let's just take a childcare center. Or we could take a restaurant if you want to. It doesn't matter. But if you took a restaurant, right? And how do you typically pay the grill cook, Neel? You in a restaurant? How do y'all pay the grill cook? What?
Hourly wage.
An hourly wage. You pick up.
Yeah.
And
$10 an hour.
When you sit down, well, it's about to be at least 15 everywhere, right? But when you sit down and you interview them, right, and you go to make an offer, what do you typically, as the business owner, what type of offer are you making them for hourly?
The lowest one that I think will get accepted.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thank you for being honest. It's always either you look at what they've made in the past, you go somewhere in the middle, but you basically are trying to pay them as little as humanly possible that they'll say yes. What a great way to start a relationship, right? And
Yeah.
and for the vast, I mean, for millions of people and millions of companies in this country, that's exactly how we hire, right? We pay a flat wage for a flat result, and we pay them the lowest possible flat wage that they'll say yes to.
Correct. That's America.
I mean, that's people, humankind.
That's what we do.
But I'm going to challenge you today and say, what a terrible way to pay people.
Doesn't sound great.
No. Not only does it not sound great, it's not producing the results that blow people away. It's not rewarding your employees. And it's definitely not rewarding the behavior you want, because what are you rewarding when you pay somebody by the hour? What are you rewarding? You're paying them for what?
Attendance.
Attendance.
Thank you.
You're paying for
the clock. There's the clock.
Fogging up a mirror. You're rewarding them for punching in and punching out. Right? And that's not what we want. I mean, we certainly want people to show up, but that's not what we're looking for as business owners, right? So you've got to flip that script a little bit. Right? I mean, you got to change it a little bit.
Yeah.
You're paying people for attendance in this country. Almost all of you that are listening, that's what you reward. You reward your employees for attendance. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Now, it's time to figure out what you really want and reward that. What behavior do you want and reward that? Now, certainly attendance is something you can reward your people for. Sure, that can be one thing. But we really want to reward them for creating customers. We really want to reward them for keeping customers. We really want to reward them for blowing customers away. We really want to reward them for profits, things that matter, growing sales, making sales, right? That's what we want to reward. So the first thing is you've got to figure out what you want. You've got to tell your employees what you want. You've got to figure out what behavior, the exact behavior you want, and then figure out how to measure it. So, what's something that you want for your grill cook, Neel? Let's come up with it so we can kind of help you with this.
Steaks on time, coming out the window hot and ready to go. The right steak.
Okay, so delivering the correct steak on time. And so how can we measure that?
How many come back?
Okay, so we can count how many came back on certain grill cooks nights, correct? Or right? And then we can look at the tickets and decide how many they sold and how many came back, correct? And how many do you think is okay to come back in a night? 5%, 10%, 20%?
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh. 1 in 10.
10%.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
Okay, 10%.
That's still pretty high.
Less than 10%, right? So what about if for every less than 10%, for every 1% under 10% they were, you gave them an extra $1 an hour?
Whew.
I mean, that's something you could do, right?
Yeah.
So if they only have 5% come back, they get to make $15 an hour.
Yeah. That's a winner.
$10 an hour cook.
Yeah. That's
right. And it's probably worth it.
Sign me up. Yeah. That guy's signing up.
Probably worth it. So you got to figure out what you want to reward. And Neel wants to reward meal accuracy on the grill, which is fine. That's a good thing to measure. You can always change it up too. But for right now, you're going to do meal accuracy. And then you got to figure out how to measure it. We just quickly figured out how we're going to measure it. And just so you know, this was not prep. That's why Neel has that strange look on his head. We're doing this from shooting from the hip. Now, the next thing is you got to make sure however you're going to measure it is super simple and that the grill cook and you know how it is. It can't be like some stupid formula that most business owners come up with that only they can figure out. Right. Yeah. It's got to be something that the grill cook knows as he's going, hey man, I'm hitting it. I got it. Boom. $18 an hour I made tonight. He's got to be able to go home and tell his kids, tell his girlfriend, tell his boyfriend, whatever it is. He gets to be able to go home and tell them, how good of a job he did. He's got to know his own finish line. He's got to know how great he is, so he can brag around the kitchen.
Yeah.
So tell them what you want. Figure out how you're going to measure what you want, the behavior that you want, and then make it real simple to measure, and then figure out what your reward is going to be. We did dollars an hour. So that's a quick little 3-step method. But I want to give you 8 ways to reward employees in 2021. Remember, what's rewarded gets done. Remember that. And remember, reward your customers, and they will reward you with your business over and over and over again. Okay. In preparation for my goal setting meeting on Monday, I'm going to give you 8 ways you can reward reward your employees, your staff in 2021, other than raises. You ready? You're taking notes, aren't you, Neel?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ready? You ready?
Come on. Yep.
Number 1, give them a piece of the action. You treat your employees like owners, and they will act like owners. I will tell you across all my business platforms, all my guys will tell you this is a basic tenet of what we do. I don't own a single company by myself. None, not a single one by myself. The other day, my attorney was looking for one. I think we have like 22, 23 companies right now. And he's like, do you have any of these that are just by yourself because we needed to do something for a tax purpose? I go, no, I don't own anything by myself. I have partners in everything. I got minority partners in everything I do. Why? Because if you treat them like an owner, they will act like owners. They act like owners, they'll be profitable. You'll change their lives. So number 1, give them a piece of the action. And even all the way down to that grill cook, Neel. This year you may have seen that Facebook post at our Cedars Centers. We're taking every 2-year employee. Once an employee hits 2 years, and they're part of a profit sharing program, 5% of the bottom line goes to them. And it adds up over the year. So like in period 1, you put down 12 grand, whatever. At the end of the year, they're going to take whatever they make. They make 300 grand, right? 5% will be for them, which is, what is that? 15,000?
$15,000
Yeah. So if there's 10
divided by the number of
they're going to
employees.
split $15,000.
That's fantastic.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you'll have a line of people at the door to
like owners. They'll act like owners. Give your people a piece of the action, baby. Number 2, reward them with letting them do more of their favorite work. I was reading a story about that this week, and I was like, oh man, what a great idea. We have some people that love to do certain things. Reward them by letting them do more of those certain things for a job well done. Say, hey, look, knock out those budgets, knock out those pro formas, whatever. And I tell you what, next week you're going to go to that new opening and train some new people, or you're going to get to go, or I'm going to put you on a design job and let you do this. Like, reward people with letting them do some more of the work they love, special projects that they love. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a reaction on that. What do you think? That was a new one for me.
Yeah, that's a new one. I like that.
Number 3, give them more responsibility and advancement. Look, it goes without saying, people love to be promoted, advancement, etc. But people love responsibility. At Better Beans, you got Katie Lee. I know Katie Lee, like if you gave her and put her in charge of, Christmas presents, she loves it. Mm-hmm. That's a reward for her.
Yeah, she owned it.
Being trusted with something. So reward them with more responsibility. Number 4, reward them with some freedom. Let some of your people write their own schedule this week. Let them work from home a day or 2. The people that deserve it should be able to reward themselves with reward them with a little bit of freedom so they can reward themselves. And put that out there. Don't just sporadically give it, but like say, look, you knock this project out, Jordan, and you want to write your schedule. Let your grill cook write his schedule for hitting his goal. Hey, you hit your goal, you can write your own schedule this week. Boom. Right?
Yeah, that's compelling.
Yeah, it's awesome. Let them write their schedule. Reward them with some personal growth or chances for continued education. How about you give somebody a week off and let them go to a training in Bozeman, Montana on, leadership. Let them do a week at a design school at SCAD or something. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, send your grill cook to you know, a cordon bleu course in France. You know what I mean?
I do.
You want to make people feel good, reward them with something special. Reward them with a little continuing education. Helps you too. But it also helps them, their resume, their career. It shows you really care about them. Number 6, reward them with some prizes and competitions. Hey, I love these. You know we love these. But man, have some cool competitions. On the spot prizes, small things, trophies. Everybody loves trophies. I mean, we had a director, one of our favorite directors that we ever had, Kelly Williams. I think it was like, you know, 10 years ago, she won Director of the Year, and it must have popped up in her Facebook feed the other day, but she posted a picture of that trophy she got 10 years ago. People love trophies. I mean, just in my arm's reach, I have, you know, this huge golf award I won this year at the Chateau Elan member, Blue Flight winner. You know, you've probably seen the big one behind me, that little silver one over my left shoulder. Perfect game baseball coaching trophy. People, where are your trophies, Neil? Oh yeah, you don't have any. Okay, so reward them with prizes and competitions. The number 7, reward them with tools for their job. I didn't think about this. I thought about this a lot when we hired Savannah and looked at like how proud she was of that Apple computer that we had bought her. You know, we bought one with all the bells and whistles. I mean, I think it cost us as much as a car does. Did it? It cost like that, Neil?
Yeah, 2 cars.
Yeah, 2 cars. So we're buying, you know, but like think about how much pride they take when they get to work with those types of tools. You know, if you give a teacher in a classroom, you know, new materials or something that are all the, I mean, these are things that make people happy at their job. Have something where they're rewarded with being able to buy things for the office, buy things for their classroom, buy things for the, you know, that help them do their job better, easier, faster, more impressively,
more profitably.
We didn't ask you what you think, Neil. Reward your customers with more insults. I mean, your employees with more insults, like me with Neil. No. Yeah, more profitably, Neil. You hit the nail on the head. That was a good one, buddy. That was condescending. Did that sound condescending?
Quite. Quite. Did you
Yeah,
reach down and pet the
them
dog?
with products, machines, tools, computers, technology, any of those things that help them do their job better. And number 8, reward them with fun. Fun. So reward them with parties, birthday parties, company parties, Zoom parties, tickets to ball games, recreation, activities, tickets, all of those, bowling teams, sports teams, all these are fun. Reward them with a little bit of fun. Nerf wars. I'm so buying some Nerf guns for the office so we can start shooting each other from time to time when we just feel like having it out. You know, reward with a little bit of fun. We have a dartboard there. I mean, I don't ever see any of y'all dorks playing unless I'm up there playing. You know, we got to have a little bit of fun. So make sure you're rewarding with people with fun. So those are the 8 things that I've got for 2021 of ways to reward your employees. 8 things. A piece of the action. Reward them with their favorite work. Reward them with responsibility and advancement. Reward them with being able to, with some freedom. Reward them with some personal growth opportunities and continuing education. Reward them with some prizes and competitions. Reward them with work products, tools, machines to do their job better and easier, and reward them with a little bit of fun. And just remember, what is rewarded is what gets done. Well, thank you, Neil. What'd you think?
I'm
just kidding.
I think it's great.
Just kidding. I didn't want to know what you thought.
Yep.
Yep. That's what Thad thinks. But I do appreciate you joining today and hitting the record button and prompting me with a few great questions and wearing a fantastic hat.
Is that my sign off?
That's bye, Felicia. Anyway, hey, look, Great show today. Really, I want you to make sure that you zero in on some of those ways to reward your employees this year. But it's now time for What That Thinks. And I am bubbling over, scared, worried, nervous about debt. We had a company meeting last week with about 8 of us at Better Beans around the table. And um, I asked everybody a personal question. I asked everybody how much student debt they had. 8 people in the room. Neel and I had zero student debt, so we're kind of out. 6 people left in the room. We were over $1 million of student debt out of 6 people. $1 million in student debt. Over $150,000 a piece on average. That is crippling, mind-numbing amount of debt. No wonder everybody wants the student debt forgiven because they can't ever pay it back. I watched a great Joe Rogan podcast. I can't remember who the guest was, but the discussion was how student debt got into the situation that it is. And basically it was, there was a time where, you didn't go to college unless you could afford it, right? And so then a couple of companies came out with these student debts. Well, the thing is that there would not be any student debt until the government decided to back the student debt, right? So the government guaranteed the loans. And once the government guaranteed the loans, all the banks were willing to loan money to go to college. And once the colleges figured out that the students could just go borrow the money to come there, they raised their prices to the point where, the average education is costing people in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to go. My 12-year-old girl, we're estimating that it's going to cost $300,000 to go to college. That's if it's in state. 300, and most of the large universities have figured out that they don't even accept that many students from in-state anymore because they get so much more money for out-of-state tuition. So they get as many people from out-of-state as they can because they pay more money to come to school there. It is a racket, and the colleges are to blame, and the government are to blame backing these loans. And the people are to blame because they're big enough idiots to keep signing on these loans. I mean, like, why are you taking on student debt? Why is everybody taking on student debt? I don't understand it. It is a devastating. If you added in the fact that most of these people have $150,000 or more with a student debt, and you added in the $130,000 their share of the national deficit, the average person's got $280,000 in debt. I mean, my family has $500,000 in debt, and just our share of the U.S. deficit. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. So we've got to do something about debt in this country. We have to. But I am committed, and I'm saying it loud and proud online. We are developing right now at Better Beans 100%. And I'm going to do this for Cedars for our child cares too. I am developing a small business apprenticeship program. We're going to get high school graduates. We're going to give them hands-on learning modules. They're going to learn everything from P&L and financial management to HR policies, interview hiring. They're going to learn operations. They're going to learn design. They're going to learn marketing. We're going to take them across in HR. We're going to take them across all of our platforms and all of the basic parts of company organization, and we're going to teach them small business. And we're going to do it over an 18-month program. We're going to have lots of modules, hands-on experience. And when they're done, they're going to have zero debt, but they're going to have 18 months of an apprenticeship and 18 months of on-the-job training. And quite frankly, there should be thousands, literally thousands of companies that would hire them after this apprenticeship program, and their debt load would be zero. So if you compare that to like some of the recent college graduates that we've hired that have $200,000 worth of debt plus the $100,000 they paid to go to school, they're basically, their net worth is negative $200,000 to $300,000 negative, and ours will at least be starting at a net worth of zero. That means they're $300,000 ahead of everybody else when they get started, and they have real experience and they know how to be profitable. I know this isn't going to change the world. It won't change the world unless, everybody adopted this. There has to be some fundamental changes to our education system, starting with it becoming more affordable, and not because the government forgives debt, but because these overpaid people at colleges, and it just costs way too much money. But small businesses like you, small business owners like you, I challenge you to come up with very good apprentice programs for high school graduates. I challenge you to change the way our education programs work. And that way we change a few people's lives that come to work with our companies, that come apprentice with you. I would love to see some of my apprentices. I'd love to have a couple of apprentices finish this 18 months, 2 years from now, and go to work for one of you and be just an amazing employee. What a testimonial that would be. But I'd also love to have a few 22-year-olds with some common sense and a positive net worth. Anyways, that's what Thad thinks. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hey, look, check out Better Beans. If you need a remodel, if you need interior or exterior design, or you need branding help, Better Beans is the only company that can do all of those in amazing fashion. Email us at info@betterbeansbranding.com. Look us up on the internet. I think you'll love us. Rate us, review us, subscribe to this channel. I can't wait to see y'all again next week. Adios.